So Oppo released the new phone, the Oppo Find X7 Ultra. It's the successor to Oppo Find X6 Ultra that is filming me right now. And I have a few things to talk about it. If you're thinking about the 7 Ultra, I believe it's a good video for you to watch from a user of the latest flagship from Oppo. And I bought this device looking for the specs for the hardware that was amazing. Still amazing to this day, like an IMX 989 1-inch sensor and an IMX 8090 for the both cameras, the telephoto and ultra wide. Okay, so amazing specs, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, great screen, everything on the hardware is great, but I had a lot of surprises with the software and I want to talk about them. So first thing you're gonna notice, I'm gonna talk here about mostly about video and the cameras. So first thing you're gonna notice is the blocked cameras in third-party apps. So you cannot use the telephoto camera of the Oppo Find X6 Pro in any other app that is not the stock camera and the TikTok app, the Chinese TikTok app, which is an AWIM package. So when you try to install a Gcam, you have to rename the package to AWIM package. If you want to use your camera to record the 3x camera, like open camera that I use, MC Pro 24 FPS, you have to rename it to AWIM package, and you can only have one AWIM package, so you have to choose one of them. And there is no reason to block a sensor. And some people gonna say, oh, it's a requirement of Android and stuff like that. Like, it's totally BS, because there's no restriction on Android like that. It's just BBK Group does this. I had a Realme GT2 Pro, and it was the ultra wide was also blocked in third-party apps, and it would only work on stock camera and a AWIM package. So I asked Oppo about it, but they said some doesn't know to respond, and some said that it was a government requirement, the Chinese government. So I don't know if that's true or not. They kind of blocked me on all Oppo groups, and that's one thing with Oppo, is you cannot talk bad about them, because the fanboys are like even worse than iPhone or Apple fanboys. Like, you cannot talk anything bad about this company, because they go crazy, they block you, and that's it. So first thing you're gonna notice is this blocking of sensors for no reason, and second thing I noticed was the exposure based on faces, the face detection. So the way they implemented like face detection on this phone is ridiculous, to say the least, like especially in the front camera, but the back cameras also have this problem. So you cannot turn that off at all in any third-party apps or the stock camera. You have to, the face detection is on by default all the time, and the face detection, anytime it detects a face, it just raises the exposure for no reason. Like, I don't know if they want you to look wider, or they just try this trick to remove any like shadows of your face or anything. Like, it's not realistic at all in the front camera, since it doesn't have a good dynamic range. There's nothing I can say good about the front camera, actually. So the front camera, since it doesn't have a good dynamic range, it's even worse, because as soon as it detects a face, it just blows out everything in the scene, because it doesn't take in consideration anything other than remove any shadows, remove any dark part of your face. Like, it just wanna brighten up in the worst way possible, like raising exposure. It's not even like a trick for raising shadows or anything. It's just raising exposure no matter what scene you are. So it's just gonna blow. If you are backlit by any little bit of light backlit, that's it. It's gonna be a explosion behind you. So in the front camera is more noticeable, but in the back cameras it also happens. But since it has like a better dynamic range, it's not that noticeable, but it is there. and it is ridiculous because sometimes you're like filming, recording something, and it finds a face, and then the exposure goes up, and then the face goes away, and the exposure goes down again. Like, it doesn't take in consideration the scene at all when it detects a face. Like, it does not look good at all, and there's no way to turn that off or use another app that doesn't have it because it's embedded like in the camera system, and you can't do anything about it. The third thing I noticed was the multi-frame noise reduction. It is terrible. It's a feature that Oppo implemented. As you can see, like when I record with open camera and I try to turn off everything, like the over sharpening, the noise reduction, and I try to remove as much as possible on a third-party app, but it's not possible to remove multi-frame noise reduction, the face detection. It's not possible. But when you try to remove all those features, the image looks a lot better. So I don't know why they are spending time and money to implement features that make the camera look worse. So the multi-frame noise reduction, if you have like custom curves like MC Pro 24 FPS or open camera, and the stock camera also happens this on the front camera, the back camera, you have like dancing objects behind you. Like when you're recording like this for YouTube, for example, the camera is stationary, but multi-frame noise reduction tries to remove noise from the scene, but it doesn't take in consideration that I'll be moving like my hands and my face, and somehow it just start moving the objects behind me. In this video you're not gonna notice because I made some changes to kind of avoid this, but I'm gonna put a video for you guys to see like how terrible this looks. It's just so distracting. Like, I couldn't use this camera for my YouTube videos for months because I couldn't deal with this. Like, I couldn't post a video with like a sofa moving, like lamps moving. It's like a jelly poltergeist thing happening here. Like, it was ridiculous. It is still ridiculous. I talked to Oppo about it. They didn't fix it, so you cannot turn that off. So that's it. You have to live with this, and that's it. Another problem, let's see, sharpening. Sharpening is everywhere, especially on the back camera 1080 recording. I think it's terrible on board 4K. Front camera, it's all full of sharpening. I don't know why those brands still like so much to do sharpening, maybe to impress some people that doesn't have too much knowledge in cameras, but it's there. You can turn that off. Like, a lot of the sharpening, you can turn it down on open camera, so it's not a big problem for me, but it is there. The front camera, I have nothing to say good about it. Like, the dynamic range is bad, the face detection is horrible, the stabilization is not good. Like, I don't even use the stock camera for anything, but it has 4K now. They updated and it has 4K on the front camera, but if the dynamic range is bad, the stabilization 4K is pretty much, I don't know if it does work in 4K at all, and you cannot use it at all, like the front camera. So that's it. No support for Camera X API. That's, I believe only Samsung does this, like the Camera X API, which helps developers to develop camera apps for any Android phone, but they don't support it, so don't expect that. And I asked them, they said they don't have any plans to support it, so that's it. Live HDR is a big problem too. Like, they have this feature called Live HDR. They call it something else, sometimes 4K Ultra Night Video, or AI highlight, they call it. Yeah, AI highlight. There's a button on the Oppo phones on the camera for video HDR, which is like, people get a bit confused with HDR word because you have HDR, which is like output HDR, like 10-bit Dolby Vision, and you have like this feature AI HDR, what's it called? AI highlight, which is DOL HDR. DOL HDR is like capturing different exposures of the scene in video for each frame and merging them together to get a better dynamic range. So it's pretty much what Google does with the Gcam, what's called, I don't know, the Gcam something. It captures a lot of like different exposures and merge them together so you have a better dynamic range. So that's what DOL HDR would be in this phone if it had it, because they advertise it. And the phone, inside the phone, you can go in settings, about, and there's a Mary Silicon X section there where they talk everything about this feature, the 4K Ultra Night video, 4K Ultra HDR video, which would like improve low light video, improve dynamic range in daylight shots in video, but the option is simply not there. It doesn't exist at all. I talked to Oppo about it. They don't know what I'm talking about. I have to show them, try to explain them to them, but they don't know what I'm talking about. Some of them say my device doesn't support it, even though I found an article from Oppo saying it's supported by the Mary Silicon X chip, but they say it doesn't support. And then after, when I insist, they say it's on by default, but inside the phone it says you have to turn on the button, the AI highlight. This button is on all other phones. I have seen it in other Oppo phones, but on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, it's not there. I don't know if it's because the Mary Silicon X got discontinued. They stopped like developing this chip and closed the factories and everything, and they just removed the button. I don't know what happened, but even Oppo doesn't know what happened. I know it's not there. I don't know if it has DOL HDR at all. Some say it's on by default, but it's advertised that there would be a button and it's not there. So just looking at it, you can see how Oppo treats the software, like advertising something inside the phone, like a feature with a button, and this button doesn't exist. That's the treatment the software has on Oppo phones. It's crazy, and nobody knows what happened to this button, if it has ever existed. I don't know. I guess that's it. Like, I could talk more things about this camera, but the biggest problem here is like the restrictions, the bad software. You cannot turn off multi-frame noise reduction. You cannot turn off a lot of things, and you cannot unlock the bootloader because you don't have an official flashing tool like Xiaomi does, like the Mi Flash 2. So if you do anything wrong with this device, you have to pay someone that you don't know to go in and access your computer to unbrick it, because you need Oppo credentials to do this. It has to access the Oppo servers to unbrick this phone. So there is no custom ROMs, there is no root or anything like this, because Oppo doesn't want you to messing with your own phone that you paid a lot of money for it, actually. So they don't want you messing with the third-party cameras, like the telephoto camera. You cannot use it unless it's the stock camera or the AWIM package. So they don't want you to unlock the bootloader or anything. So it's pretty ridiculous. It's full of restrictions, and the software is full of problems that could be resolved with the unlocked bootloader, but they don't let you do it. So you're just on their hands, and they don't know how to develop like cameras well. Like I showed you, like the multi-frame noise reduction is a terrible implementation of noise reduction. The face detection is a terrible implementation of like raising shadows. It's just like raising exposure, actually. So all those problems could be fixed maybe if I could unlock the bootloader, but they don't want you to do this, and they don't want to fix the problem. So that's it. I guess that's it. What what I have to talk about this phone, the Oppo Find X6 Pro. So if you're thinking buying the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, I guess you should take this in consideration. I know the specs are great, and when I bought the Find X6 Pro, the specs were great too, but the software, it counts a lot, and the software here on this phone is pretty bad. I really regret buying it, but that's it. I have it now, and I have to deal with all those problems and keep talking with Oppo to see if they fix it, but I believe they never will, and that's it. I have to live with it. So if you're thinking buying this 7 Ultra, think about it, and I'm ending the video here. So bye.